you know, I went back and watched the game a second time, and Sarkisian, man, and his play calling just I was just super baffled by, he's been known for his opening script, right? And
Mhm.
it did not look like him. I felt like he overthought this game. He put too much work into it and didn't keep it simple, which he should have, because you got Arch, a first year quarterback, starting in a road environment like that. Sark is heavy on the screen game. He didn't run his first screen until his 17th play of the game, which I mean that's normally he's running a screen within the first 5 plays. And it's I don't know, man. I was just what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I do think Sark was out of sorts, and I think that a big reason for that was he didn't know what to expect from Matt Patricia, right? So, you know, Matt Patricia, of course, he was with the Patriots, so he's a bona fide defensive coordinator. Baffled some of the greatest in the game to ever play the game, right? Uh, I just felt that you thought Sark would make the adjustments though at halftime. And like I said, it was uncharacteristic because they were going into the fourth with no points at all. Uh, you know, the defense played well enough for them to win the game. It was just the offense just didn't show up. Now, we'll see in the future whether that was because of, just Ohio State just had a great game plan, or maybe is Arch, going to continue to struggle throughout this year. I mean, it was his third start, but his first start in a hostile environment. So uh, we'll see as time goes on this season.
Yeah, one of the things that got me, man, is that he was 3 for 6 on the deep ball, which is good. But he missed so many easy throws. I want to say he was 4 for 12, like off target on easy throws, which is, I mean, crazy. Meaning the ball wasn't catchable for the receiver. I mean, that's
Yeah. Well, I know I
Quinn
act.
had that touch on his
Yeah.
passes. He had a lot of finesse, the arm angles, and maybe that's not Arch's game, but they gonna have to figure out a way to get him dialed in and get him comfortable because he looked uncomfortable the entire game up until the fourth quarter.
He did. And that was one of the things, I know I text you and asked you like, why is he throwing side on? He was doing like he was doing so many different things. You could just tell he was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Uh and it was just, you know, uh, well, I know we had heard all the hype, around Arch. You know, being a realist, I didn't expect him to go out and throw for 400, 500 yards in his
No.
first start, but I did expect a better performance than what we saw. But again, I attributed a lot to not knowing what the game plan was going to be from Matt Patricia, and his first start. I mean, that's kind of what you can expect from a quarterback, in his first start in a hostile environment and the season opener. So
Yeah. And another thing that really got me is that Sark is a big motion. He's a big target to motion guy, right? Motion to bunch, motion to anything. He likes to he uses motion a lot to see what the defense is doing, right? Helps out his quarterback.
mm-hmm.
He didn't use motion too much in that game. He used motion target the bunch maybe 4 or 5 times, but I mean, Arch didn't get a chance to see the defense move, right? He like pre-snap, post-snap. If he motions somebody, somebody has to move. The defense not standing still, right? Somebody's gonna follow this guy. The safety's dropping down, whatever it is. But he didn't get a chance to see that, and so if the nickel is on the line of scrimmage, they use a no motion. He snaps the ball. Now that nickel is dropping back to the middle of the field when Arch thought, they're in the cover two, and now they're not. So a lot of pre-snap, post-snap changes for the defense, and I mean, Matt Patricia, he coached his ass off. But I
Yeah, he
will
did.
say, we stopped running the ball. We ran the ball well in this game. I don't understand why we stopped handing the ball off. We ran for
Yeah.
177 yards. Like if you look at the stat sheet, man, and you didn't show the scores, it would look like that Texas won the game because we outgained them in every statistical category. And it's just, yeah, very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. Defense played great. When you
Yeah, he
hold
did.
Ohio State to 14 points in their house,
Yeah.
you got to win that game. Missed opportunities, man. Missed opportunities. Take the points, Sark. God damn.
Yeah.
Take the points.
Yeah, and especially in games like that, you got to take the points. Uh, I don't know how your kicker situation is. I can tell you about Bama's, but that's a whole another story for another day. But in those type situations, like you said, you got to take the points.
So, I mean, the media has been killing Arch, and I just think the the expectations for him coming in was skyrocket high, right? He's a Manning, right?
Yeah,
I think he's not going to let the noise get to him. I think he'll have a bounce back game this
yeah,
Saturday. We got three
yeah,
Ducks coming up, so that should get him comfortable, get him good, and then get ready for SEC play.
yeah. And then not only that, like you just said too, uh, he got the greatest mentors that you could have, right? Uh, so he definitely could. He got the best people that he needs to help
Yeah,
him, get to where he needs to get to.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, man. Well, enough about Arch and his struggles, man. Let's talk about the Saban standard and what's going on at Bama.
Yeah. So with Bama, again, it's kind of like what you said. It was I think the preseason noise, hype that we heard coming out of camp that we thought that would be able to that Bama would be, on the top, right? Like one of the
Yeah,
best teams. They were saying that they were um, one of the best teams in the nation. Some was even predicting them to win the championship this year, and they
yeah,
went out and they did not look like any of that. Uh, so that's what I think I was frustrated at. All the noise that we heard coming out of camp, and like I said, they didn't look like any of the stuff that we was hearing. Could that be because it was Gus and that offense? Uh, that's partially true. Again, it kind of goes to it was the first time we actually seen this revised Florida State team. Um, so maybe it was just of a complete shock that they looked like that. But me personally, I feel like when you had Auburn tape, you got UCF tape, you knew what Gus does,
yeah,
right? Go back to Boston College last year when they played Florida State. You knew what Tommy Castellanos was.
yeah,
Uh, you had 8 months to prepare for that game almost,
yeah,
and it looked like they wasn't prepared at all. Um, and the last thing is, it's kind of like what you said. The offense start out their first drive, 17 play drive. They had
mhm,
55 yards on their first drive, abandoned the run after that.
yeah,
And I don't know is because maybe they panicked, but they were running the ball. They was pushing the linemen on that first drive, and they just went away from it all, and then put it all on Ty's hands. His first game, uh, he threw the ball 43 times, which I think was just too much.
it's too much.
Um,
Yeah, it's too much.
yeah,
You depending on your quarterback to yeah, that's
right. And again, it's not like it was his first ever start. I just think that's too much to put on a first time starter to throw the ball 43 times. So just disappointment, man. I don't know what Kalen DeBoer. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just frustrating.
so, watching that game, man, Bama just did not look like Bama. And there was a Saban coach team back then, so I get the difference. But
Right.
when I'm watching a game and I see guys jogging during a play, why a guy is running down your throat and this guy is jogging to make a tackle, hey man, he got to come out the game. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and like they said, that's gonna be some of the stuff that we gotta see tonight. So, I mean, not tonight, but that's some of the things that we're gonna have to see. Is DeBoer gonna pull these guys, or he's gonna still let them play after the effort that he saw that they did? Like I said, I'm not saying Nick Saban would have cut these guys or nothing crazy like that, but I guarantee you they would have felt that pain, and I guarantee they probably wouldn't have played as much as they played in that first game. So we just really got to see what Kalen DeBoer can do, man. Some say the season not lost. Right now, I just don't feel that way, especially when I look at teams like Vanderbilt running quarterback, Lenora Sellers, South Carolina running quarterback, Auburn, Jackson Arnold running quarterback, right? Can Bama learn, can they fix those issues before those games? And as of right now, I just don't have the confidence because they haven't fixed it yet.
Yeah. Man, that's such a tough. Remember when they made the hire, right? You weren't too comfortable with the hire to
I was
begin with.
not correct.
Yeah, I remember us having that conversation.
Uh,
He didn't seem like he fit the Bama like culture. He doesn't seem like
mm-hmm.
a culture fit for Bama. And I've said the same thing about Brian Kelly at LSU. Even though they got that win over Clemson, I still didn't think that he was like a good culture fit for the SEC and LSU. So
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen? How so? Another question then: how long do you think Kalen DeBoer can keep this up? Right? Let's say he loses 4 games this year
Mm-hmm.
and misses the playoffs. What do you think?
I think they're going to keep him because of the size of his contract. So right now, they're saying the buyout is 70 mil. Right. I think what would have happened, just say 9-4. I think Greg Byrne comes to him just like they kind of do in the NFL and say, hey, uh, you need to either make some changes, or next year, if you can't get it done, I got to move on.
Yeah.
9-4 just doesn't cut it, man. And I know people think Alabama fans are spoiled, but and I said before, I think this even season began, all I just wanted to see was to make the college football playoff, not even win the championship, just make the college football playoff, be in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be would appease a lot of Alabama fans. But to go 9-4 with the type of program we have and the type of players that we
Talent.
have,
Yeah, the talent.
it's not good enough.
The talent. Yeah. It doesn't help that, the season ended the way it ended last year, and then you
Mm-hmm.
roll into this year. It'd be different
Mm-hmm.
if he ended last year on a high note. You made the playoffs, okay, you lost
Mm-hmm.
in the semis, whatever. But
Right.
the way that you had a chance to play for an SEC championship, you
Mm-hmm.
squandered that with that loss to Oklahoma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to a bowl game to play Michigan, who was depleted because all their players went to the draft,
Mm-hmm.
and you ended up playing a second string quarterback, and y'all got dominated. Jalen Milroe played freaking awful. So you
Right.
take that loss, and then you start the season with a bad loss to Florida State.
Yeah. And like I said, 5-5 in the last 10 games.
Yeah.
1-4, I think. 1-4 on the road. Can't win on the road. Only game we think we won on the road was Wisconsin and
Mm.
last year. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can get it turned around.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Texas is gonna get it turned around though. I still think Texas. I just think, they got some bugs to work out. And like they say,
Yeah.
sometimes you'll see the difference between week 1 and week 2. You'll see a big jump, right?
Yeah.
And I think Texas is gonna take that jump. They just got too much talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be straight.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we'll see another secondary that Ohio State had, which they had a good secondary. Don't get me wrong; it's not like they were world beaters out there because
Yeah,
Arch he missed wide open receivers.
he did.
So that was one of the frustrating things. You missing wide open players, but I do think that he'll calm down coming into this week, and they'll turn it around. Like I said, defense travels. Even though these games are at home, but in the future, when we go on the road in the SEC, if the run game can travel and the defense can travel, you got a chance to win every game.
Yeah,
That's football 1-on-1 right there. So, um, yeah,
yeah,
I still think my prediction is not lost on me, man. SEC champs, I'm still calling it.
yeah. Well,
I don't know if we'll be playing Bama as my original prediction.
yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Right now, I'm down on that prediction.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm down
yeah.
on that.
The tackling, man, was poor versus
It
Florida
was.
State. That looked like last year's Miami team, man, out there on
Yeah,
defense.
I think everybody has a lot. Nobody kind of the defensive side of the ball is just it's bad. And and I
Y'all
know they're
defensive
saying
coordinator is Womack, right?
correct, and he came from
Yeah,
South Alabama.
yeah,
Um, and I think that and I know when he left South Alabama to come to Alabama, his defense was ranked in the top 10,
yeah.
right? But that was at South Alabama. That defense is just not cutting it, right? And again, like I said, a lot of the same problems we had last year with mobile quarterbacks were already started this year off with the same issues. So
Mm,
yeah,
mm, mm, mm.
yeah. So I'm interested to see DeBoer's press conference today. Um, kind of see what he has to say because he doesn't show a lot of passion on the field. Um,
Yeah, when you text me and said, "Man, he needs to cut somebody out."
he does. He does. And
Yeah,
he doesn't talk to players coming off the field. And maybe we don't see that part. But they
yeah,
never show him talking to players coming off the field. They never show him getting on coaches. It's just
yeah,
always he's just looking at the camera, with his little mic up and the hat down, and he don't say nothing. He
yeah,
just like, come on, man. And like somebody said, and this is the last thing. Like somebody said, I don't want you to, cut somebody out like Saban. I just want you to coach like Saban.
yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like, get on these players, man. Hold somebody accountable. Yeah.
We'll
So
see what it says at his press conference. Sark also
yeah,
speaks at 12:30. So,
yeah.
um,
DeBoer's at 12.
yeah. All right, well, that does it for this episode of the Unbiased Room. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.